They dropped it. They actually dropped it. A sneak peek at Fallout Season 3. And I am not okay right now. Because whatever I thought was coming in Season 3, this trailer just flipped everything upside down. Like, I had my predictions. I had my theories. I thought I had a rough idea of where this story was going, and then this footage showed up and basically said, yeah, no, you don't know anything. And honestly, that's exactly the kind of energy I needed from this show right now. So buckle up, because we are going frame by frame, moment by moment through everything this sneak peek gave us. And trust me, there is a lot to unpack. The Wasteland is not the same place we left it. Something has shifted. Something big. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Season 3 might actually be the best season yet, and why that sneak peek just changed everything we thought we knew about where the story is headed. Okay, so let me set the scene first, because context matters here. When Season 2 ended, it didn't just close a chapter, it blew the whole book up. Steph opened that box, she sent that message. The Enclave got the signal to start Phase 2. And Hank, after everything, after all the manipulation and the secrets and the lies, pushed that button and wiped himself clean. Just gone. That brilliant, terrifying mind erased. And on top of all of that, Lucy is standing in the middle of the wasteland knowing that people out there, real people, breathing, walking around, have micro mind-controlling devices inside them that she can't see and probably can't stop. That's where we left off. That's the world this sneak peek is picking up from. And the trailer doesn't ease you back in gently. It throws you straight into the chaos like you never left. The first thing that hits you watching this footage is the tone. If Season 1 had that almost playful, wide-eyed quality Lucy, stepping out of the vault and seeing the wasteland for the first time, and Season 2 got darker, more political, more dangerous, then Season 3 is operating on a completely different level. The color in this trailer is muted. Dusty, like the wasteland itself is exhausted. And that's not an accident. The show has always used its visual language really deliberately. And what this sneak peek is telling us visually is that the world has gotten heavier. The stakes aren't just personal anymore. They're everywhere. They're in the air. And you can feel that weight in every single frame of this footage. Now, the first real moment that made me stop and rewind, and I did rewind it multiple times, is what appears to be the wasteland in a state that we've genuinely never seen before. Because Hank's experiment, those mind-controlling devices he implanted across the wasteland, they worked. You can see it. The people out there aren't fighting. They're not scrambling for resources or threatening each other the way wasteland survivors always do. And at first glance, you might think, okay, that sounds kind of peaceful, right? Like maybe Hank accidentally did something good. But the more you sit with it, the more disturbing it becomes. Because peace in the wasteland isn't natural. Peace in the wasteland, when it's forced, when it's manufactured by a device inside someone's skull that they don't even know is there, that's not peace. That's a cage. And this trailer seems to know that. The way it frames these moments isn't hopeful. It's eerie. It's wrong in a way that's hard to put your finger on immediately. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that brings me to Lucy, because she is clearly at the center of all of this in Season 3. In the sneak peek, she looks different. Not just visually, though.
Yeah.
She does look like someone who has been through it, but the way she carries herself has changed. Season 1, Lucy was optimistic almost to a fault. The kind of person who still believed in rules and goodness in a world that had long since given up on both. Season 2 started cracking that open. Season 3, based on what this trailer is showing us, seems to be the season where Lucy has to figure out who she actually is when the vault isn't protecting her anymore. Not physically, not emotionally, not ideologically. The vault's way of thinking is gone. And now she's standing in a wasteland full of people who've been stripped of their will. And she knows it, and she has to decide what to do about it. That's not a small thing. That's the whole show right there. What makes this even more complicated, and the trailer hints at this really effectively without spelling it out, is that fixing things isn't going to be simple. It never is on this show. But this time it feels especially messy. Because you can't just flip a switch and undo what Hank did. Or maybe you can. But should you? These people have been changed. Some of them might not even want to go back. And even if Lucy and Maximus find a way to reverse it, deactivate those devices, restore everyone to who they were before, then what? You put violent, desperate, hungry people back into a violent, desperate, resource-scarce world. Is that actually better? The show is clearly not going to give you easy answers here, and honestly, that's what makes it so good. It's asking real questions underneath all the chaos and the action and the post-apocalyptic spectacle. It's asking what it actually means to save someone, Whether saving someone means giving them back their freedom, even if that freedom hurts them. And those are heavy, uncomfortable questions that this sneak peek is already planting in your brain before season 3 even officially begins. The other thing I need to talk about from this first look is the Enclave, because Phase 2 is not a small thing. The Enclave in the games, and look, I've said before that I haven't finished playing them, so feel free to drop some spoiler-warned context in the comments. But even from what I know and what the show has built, the Enclave showing up with a full agenda is a completely different threat level than anything we've dealt with before. They're not raiders. They're not a single villain with a personal grudge. They are organized, they are resourced, they are ideological, and they believe deeply in what they're doing. And Steph just handed them the green light. Whatever Phase 2 is, the trailer makes it clear that the effects are going to be felt everywhere in the vaults, in the Wasteland, and probably in ways that are going to force characters who have nothing in common to suddenly need each other very badly. The chaos isn't coming from one direction in Season 3, it's coming from every direction at once. And that, more than anything else in this sneak peek, is what has me genuinely on the edge of my seat. Let's talk about Cooper, because the trailer gives us some really interesting glimpses of where the ghoul is at heading into Season 3, and I have a lot of thoughts. At the end of Season 2, Geneva Robertson Warwick confirmed that Cooper is headed toward Colorado. That's his destination. That's where the trail leads for finding his family. But she also made it very clear, and I think this is one of the most honest and self-aware things a showrunner has said about their own character, that Cooper Howard is constitutionally incapable of walking a straight line from point A to point B, without the universe throwing 17 things in his face first. The woman literally quoted the ghoul himself on that. And if you know Cooper's personality, if you've watched him for 2 seasons now, you know that's not a complaint. That's a promise. And this sneak peek seems to be delivering on that promise in a big way. What the trailer appears to be teasing for, Cooper is a journey that is, on paper, about finding his wife and daughter, but is actually about something much deeper and much more painful than that. Because Cooper has been alive for over 200 years. He has survived things that would have broken anyone. He has done things, terrible things, necessary things, morally gray things that blur together after a while just to keep going. And finding his family isn't just a plot goal for him, it's the last thread he has to the person he used to be before the bombs fell, before the radiation, before he became the ghoul. And the trailer hints, really subtly but unmistakably, that what he finds when he gets close to that answer might not look the way he imagined it. It might not feel the way he hoped. And watching Cooper Howard, this 200-year-old gunslinger who has survived everything, potentially have to reckon with the thing that kept him going all this time. That is going to be absolutely devastating in the best possible way. Now here's the part of the trailer that I think a lot of people are going to overlook on first watch, but that actually might be the most important detail in the whole sneak peek. There's a moment, brief blink and do miss it, that strongly suggests Cooper's path and Lucy's path are going to intersect much earlier in Season 3 than anyone expected. And look, I said in my Season 3 predictions that these two have to reunite, that the show is not the same without their dynamic, that Lucy and Cooper getting on each other's nerves is genuinely one of the best things about Fallout as a series. Their energy together is just irreplaceable. Lucy is all heart and principle and optimism even when the world is trying to kill her. Cooper is all survival instinct and hard truth and centuries of scar tissue. And somehow when you put them together, they make each other better. Lucy makes Cooper remember what humanity feels like. Cooper makes Lucy understand what survival actually costs. That push and pull is electric. And Season 3 giving it to us again, possibly even earlier in the season than we got it in Season 2, is genuinely exciting. But what's really interesting about the way the trailer frames their potential reunion is that both of them have changed. This isn't the same Lucy who stumbled out of Vault 33 wide-eyed and clutching her Vault-Tec Pip-Boy. And Cooper, based on what the sneak peek hints at, has been through something between the Season 2 finale and wherever Season 3 picks up with him. There's a wariness in the footage that feels different from the calculated, detached coolness he usually carries. Like something got to him. Like something cracked the armor just a little bit. And that version of Cooper, slightly more vulnerable, slightly more raw, meeting a Lucy who is harder and more experienced and carrying the weight of everything Hank did. That dynamic is going to hit completely differently than it did before. I don't know if they'll team up immediately or if they'll clash first. But either way, I cannot wait to watch it. Maximus also shows up in the trailer. And I want to spend a minute on him because I think he's been one of the more underrated parts of this show in Season 3. Looks like it might finally by giving him a real arc that matches the size of what's happening around him. In the sneak peek, there's something about the way Maximus is positioned, literally and figuratively, that suggests he's going to be forced into a leadership role that he is absolutely not ready for. And that's interesting, because Maximus has spent most of the show either following someone or pretending to be something he's not. He's been reactive, but season 3, if the trailer is telling us what I think it's telling us, is going to put him in a position where he has to make real decisions with real consequences. And he won't have anyone to hide behind. That character growth, if they execute it well, could make Maximus one of the most compelling parts of the season. And the trailer honestly looks like they know exactly what they're doing with him. The Brotherhood of Steel's presence in this sneak peek also caught my attention in a serious way, because the Brotherhood was already in a complicated place at the end of season 2, politically, morally, structurally, and everything that Hank's experiment unleashed. And everything the Enclave is now setting in motion with Phase 2 is going to land right in the middle of whatever the Brotherhood is trying to do. And the Brotherhood, as an institution, does not handle complexity well. They deal in power and doctrine and hierarchy. So watching them try to navigate a wasteland where the old rules don't apply anymore, where the threat isn't just raiders or mutants, but an invisible ideological war being waged on multiple fronts simultaneously, that is going to create some genuinely fascinating tension. The sneak peek isn't subtle about the fact that the Brotherhood is going to have to pick sides in season 3, and based on what the trailer is showing, the side they pick might surprise people. Okay, let's talk about Steph, because I feel like she is going to be the dark horse of season 3, in a way that the fandom is massively underestimating right now. I said in my season 3 predictions that she's going to cause chaos. And this trailer is basically confirming that in the most alarming way possible. Because Steph isn't a villain in the traditional sense. She's not cartoonishly evil. She doesn't want to hurt people for the fun of it. She has a logic. She has a worldview. She believes she's doing the right thing. And that makes her so much more dangerous than someone who's just out here causing destruction. Because you can reason with destruction. You can't reason with belief. You can't argue someone out of a conviction they didn't reason themselves into. And Steph is convinced, deeply, absolutely convinced, that what she's doing is necessary. That the Enclave's Phase 2 is not a horror, but a solution. And that belief is going to make her nearly impossible to stop. What the trailer shows us about Steph in season 3 is that she's not hiding anymore. In season 2, there was still a layer of ambiguity around her. Still moments where you could almost give her the benefit of the doubt if you squinted hard enough. Season 3, based on this sneak peek, is done with that ambiguity. She's made her choice. She sent the message. She started the clock on Phase 2, and now she's operating in the open, at least as far as her own agenda is concerned. The Vault Dwellers know something is wrong. They know she's dangerous. And they're right outside her door, exactly like I predicted, looking for answers and looking for justice. But here's the thing, and this is what makes the trailer's framing of Steph so genuinely unsettling. She's not afraid of them, not even a little bit. And the Vault Dwellers, bless them, they should be. Because kind and naive in a world that has just been set on fire by the Enclave is a really bad combination. The question the show is going to have to answer with Steph in season 3 is where her line is. Everyone has one, even people who are doing terrible things. There's always something they won't cross. And part of what makes Steph compelling as a character is that we don't fully know where that line is for her yet. The trailer hints, and this is the part that genuinely made me nervous, that she might be further along than we thought. That the version of Steph who opened Hank's box is not the same version of Steph who is now operating under the Enclave's Phase 2. Something hardened. Something settled into place. And watching her interact with people who trust her, people who don't know what she's done, people who are still operating under the assumption that she's on their side, it's tense in a way that's almost hard to watch, almost because I absolutely cannot look away. Now I want to talk about Betty, because the trailer drops some really interesting hints about her role in season 3, and I think she might end up being one of the most pivotal characters in the whole season in ways nobody is really talking about yet. Betty has always been the wild card in this show. She operates on her own frequency. She knows more than she lets on. She moves differently than everyone around her. And there's always been this sense that she's playing a longer game than anything we've seen so far. In the sneak peek, there's a sequence involving Betty that raises more questions than it answers, which, honestly, is on brand for her. But the context it's placed in suggests that she's going to become very important very fast once the full weight of Phase 2 starts landing on the vaults. Maybe the vault dwellers go to her for help. Maybe she comes to them. Either way, Betty in season 3 feels like a key that unlocks something. And the trailer is dangling that key just out of reach in a way that is genuinely, expertly maddening. The thing about Fallout as a show, and this sneak peek reinforces it beautifully, is that it's really good at making every single storyline feel connected, even when the characters are miles apart and operating in completely different worlds. The Vault storyline and the Wasteland storyline and Cooper's solo journey and the Enclave's plan all feel like they're pulling at the same thread from different ends. And eventually, that thread is going to snap. The season 3 trailer is essentially showing us all the different hands pulling on it before the snap happens. And what I love about the way this footage is put together is that it respects the audience's intelligence. It doesn't hold your hand. It trusts you to feel the tension without spelling out exactly where it's coming from. That confidence in the storytelling is something I really appreciate. And it's part of why this show has earned the obsessive fan base that it has. There's also a moment in the trailer, and I will be honest, I've watched this clip several times and I'm still not entirely sure what I'm seeing, where it looks like two characters who have never shared a scene before are suddenly in the same space. I don't want to over-speculate without being certain, but if it is what it looks like, it would be a massive moment for the overall mythology of the show. It would mean that some of the walls that have been keeping certain storylines separate are about to come down. And if that happens, if those worlds collide the way this trailer seems to be suggesting they might, season 3 is not just going to be good. It's going to be genuinely historic for this show. It would change everything we understand about the power structure of this world and who actually holds the strings. That's the kind of development that makes a season of television into a cultural moment. And based on this sneak peek, Fallout Season 3 is absolutely gunning for that. All right, let's zoom out for a second, because I think it's worth talking about what this sneak peek means for the show overall, not just in terms of plot, but in terms of what kind of show Fallout is becoming, because there's something really significant happening here that goes beyond just Season 3 looks exciting. The way this trailer is framed, the way it's structured, the tone it's going for, it feels like the show is making a deliberate statement about what it wants to be. Season 1 was an introduction. Season 2 was an escalation. Season 3, based on everything this sneak peek is giving us, is a reckoning. And reckonings are when shows either become legendary or fall apart. There's no middle ground at this stage of the story. And honestly, based on what I'm seeing, I think Fallout is on the right side of that line. One of the things that this trailer does really well, and I think it's intentional, is remind you how far all of these characters have come without being sentimental about it. There are visual callbacks in this footage to specific moments from seasons 1 and 2. And they don't feel like nostalgia. They feel like foreshadowing. Like the show is saying, remember this. Remember what it meant then. Now look at where we are. Now look at what it means now. That kind of layered storytelling, where the past and the present are in constant conversation with each other, is something that the best long-form television does brilliantly. And Fallout has always had that quality, but the sneak peek for Season 3 takes it to a new level. It feels like a show that knows its own history deeply and is using it deliberately. That's confidence. That's a writer's room that is genuinely on top of their material. Now let me talk about the release timeline, because there have been updates and I want to make sure everyone is on the same page. Fallout was officially renewed for Season 3 back in May 2025, which, huge. That renewal was never really in doubt given how successful the first 2 seasons were. But having it confirmed officially matters because it meant the writer's room could get to work without that cloud of uncertainty hanging over them. Right now, Season 3 is in and filming is set to begin on May 1st. Jonathan Nolan, who is an executive producer on the show and also a guy who clearly has opinions about how long people should have to wait for good television, has already been on record saying that the long gaps between seasons are a problem he wants to address. He's not wrong. And the fact that they seem to be moving with purpose and intention on Season 3's production schedule is a really good sign. Based on all of that, I'm expecting a late 2026 release at the earliest, with early 2027 being the more realistic target if things go smoothly. Which, for a show this size, with this level of production complexity, is actually pretty fast. And if this sneak peek is any indication of the quality they're going for, the wait is going to be worth it. What I really want to say, and I mean this genuinely, not just as a hype thing, is that this sneak peek has me more excited about Fallout Season 3 than I expected to be this early in the production cycle. Usually, a sneak peek at this stage is very controlled and very careful. It gives you just enough to keep the conversation going without really showing its hand. But this trailer felt different. It felt like a show that is genuinely confident in what it's building and is willing to show you real pieces of it. Real emotional stakes, real plot movement. Because it knows that what's coming is strong enough to survive the screen.